If they appear to be out for something, look for deception. If they're just about saying hi and bye, no problem. If you think they're hunting for something, then you look for deception.
So it's either feel sick and get pain relief, or have the pain and not feel sick.
That's it. It's a tough one. So sometimes I think I can handle the pain most of the time, but sometimes it overtakes me, you know.
This is mom of eight kids. Now I'm a widow with 8 kids. 12 hours ago, my husband suddenly passed in our home. It's been 39 hours since my husband suddenly passed away. And I don't have any family members to go to. Like I said in one of my previous videos, there isn't anybody. I don't have any friends. I don't have any family members or his family members to go to. It's just us. So the update here is I've been really busy. Like really busy, because when I found out that where I live in Canada, it's called FACS, and in the US it's called CPS, Child Protective Services. In Canada it's Families and Children's Services, and in a situation like this they're automatically called. So I haven't told my children yet that my husband's dead, their father is dead, and that's because I'm trying to give them time to ease into this new situation, this new lifestyle. As far as they think right now, they think he's still in the hospital. It's 4 a.m. in the morning and the police came to my door. Somebody that watched my video called them, and the police went and they looked at my videos on YouTube and they came to check on me. I was so relieved when they told me that I didn't have anything to worry about.
Mom of 8 Kids is a content creator on the platform that has just over 6,000 subscribers and 71 videos. She has fallen under some controversy lately, and I think it's very important that we talk about it because, you see, she recently announced that her husband, yes, this man right here, has passed away. Some people are stating that she's lying about this and that her timeline doesn't match up. So without further ado, I'm going to roll my intro and we'll get right into it.
She had no children, only dogs, and if you see her in your dreams, be sure you never, ever scream. Karma's a bitch. I'm a bigger one.
About section just states that she is from Canada and she joined the platform March 28th of this year. She also has a Patreon and she's gotten just over 300,000 views. She began on the platform really this year talking about things that parents normally talk about, such as 10 frugal choices in 5 minutes, tips for saving money and spending less on items. She also did a 1-minute kids Greek pita zero food waste idea recipe. And then one thing that she did, which was kind of weird, is she did ugly toenail pedicures and seems to also have a ugly wart removal.
Oh yeah, and I have Raynaud's syndrome. They can't get cold or anything.
Wow.
Good feet.
It's all
Oh my
crumbling
god,
under
no.
your toenail.
That's okay.
Oh my god, no.
Give it some
Oh my god. Oh god. No. Okay. You know what? Nope. I can't do it. Nope. We're done.
What kind of drink?
If they have iced tea, I would like that.
Okay. Oh, what are these? No. What are those other burgers we saw?
It was like a double stack.
Oh yeah. Yep. Sorry. I went a little far.
This is her husband right here.
Okay. What the fuck? Where are they? Where? You have some new double patty burgers.
The double stack?
Yeah. How much are they?
It comes to $3.45.
Okay.
I would say, sir, this is a Wendy's, but they're actually out of Wendy's this time.
Take one of them
Okay.
with what would passion like? Just a little bit of ketchup on it.
Well, no, what does it come with? I'll tell you what she likes.
No, that's okay. And I'll get a number one.
No, she likes stuff on it, Eugene.
I do it after. I'll get a number one with just cheese and ketchup. Medium fry, medium iced tea.
So this is the dad of the family, the father of 8, and as you can see, his name is Eugene. And he's a little bit quirky.
Have it?
Okay.
I'll have a number 2 Coke and no onions on burger.
Medium?
Large fry. I'm sorry.
Large fry, okay.
What do we have here? Or do I need something else? Am I missing
Did you
somebody?
order my...
The content. It's riveting content.
And this is not even the big iced tea. That's what you forgot. You forgot to upsize my
Oh,
Coke.
I said a large fucking Coke.
A large Coke.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is a regular Coke.
Oh, we're good. At least
And Arian's got this super big iced tea.
it's a little mixed up. The whole lunch is fucking mixed up. I don't know what we're fucking get.
I'll take the
Yeah. Keep anything that isn't eaten warm. I'm going out.
Don't you find it gross when women leave their lipstick on when they have a drink and you see their lipstick like on the straw? You don't find that gross?
Yeah.
I find that gross.
Now, when I get home, I'm gonna try the van. I'm gonna back it up. So we're gonna park a little further from the entrance.
Yeah, just amazing, riveting content.
Now you look pretty sick.
I feel pretty sick. I got my bag here in case I gotta throw up.
Yeah.
And it just came on within the last hour. Because an hour or 2 ago, I was feeling okay.
And that's what happens when you take your prescriptions.
That's the other problem. Yeah, I took a bunch of pain relief.
And it makes you feel
When pain
sick.
gets so bad, I break down. So I took a bunch of pain relief, but then I just feel sick.
Several months ago, this video was posted in which he is sharing with us how he is in severe chronic pain and is very, very ill. And he talks a bit about medication.
So it's either feel sick and get pain relief or have the pain and not feel sick.
That's it. It's a tough one. So sometimes I think I can handle the pain most of the time, but sometimes it overtakes me, you know.
And that's why you try not to take your prescriptions.
Yeah, I like to take them as needed, you know.
The video was just posted a few months ago. As you can see, he was a pretty big part of the channel here, along with mom of 8 kids. 8 kids and herself.
After talking about trying to eat less processed foods with our grocery haul, we go and we get lunch out at a fast food place. Splurging today, just because today's busy. So I can get more done if I don't have to cook. Yeah, we'll get you buckled in, okay? Just a minute.
This was the last video that he was featured in, and it is called Usual $100 Wendy's Lunch Haul. Yes, we're crazy.
You're gonna die if you have sugar or something crap.
No, diabetic.
Yeah, and that is crap.
Yeah, well, I certainly don't want to end up diabetic.
I know, but it was a false documentary. You gotta understand, documentaries don't tell you the truth. They tell you what they can get paid for.
So they're a little bit kooky, and they mainly got attention by people because Eugene here is a little bit of a conspiracy theorist. The mom is a little bit wacky, and the language that they use in front of their children is questionable. The house is an absolute pigsty, and the more subscribers they got, the more people began to worry about the children.
Going to documentary, that's what they do.
So they know people love sugar, and so they do a documentary saying people
Yeah,
starve
that's it,
sugar.
that's it. Because if they did one on sugar, well, this is an important one. So, documentaries will give you an ounce of truth.
Make sure this doesn't fall
Okay.
over, Erin. Oh, you're already holding that one, eh?
An ounce of truth.
So you're using your foot to prop that
Yeah.
one up.
Well,
Can't we put this in the cup holder? That's better.
think of it this way. An ounce of truth and a pound of exaggerated, made up stuff, lies, outright lies, all kinds of crap. So they give you
Crap.
the ounce of truth, then they give you the pound of crap because they want to be on the air. And if it's YouTube, they want a lot of views. That was a horrible documentary. If anybody could see through it, but it was done real professionally, eh?
Yeah.
$80.
Yes.
Boy, yeah, the receipt must be here somewhere. I don't know.
Oh Lord.
One of the bags somewhere.
What a mess.
Okay, so anyway, but you must have, here's one receipt here. That's the 30, 34, 41. I know.
Maybe we got extra food.
You did, you got an extra burger.
Oh, good. I'll have both burgers. You can't eat much. Take the runs off right away.
I don't know where the other receipt is, but the other receipt was 50 something.
Needless to say, the car is a disaster.
Subscribe to our channel. Do 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 do.
And they exploit the children a lot.
I can't even push it down into the cup. It gets all mushy. There we go. Now, by the time I'm done this drink, I don't even know if the straw will hold up that long, but I hate cardboard straws. Why can't they do something like coat it with some kind of wax or something? I thought they were going to do that when I heard we were going back to cardboard.
Wax is going to be banned pretty soon.
You, quiet you.
Okay. Yeah, they're going to ban wax.
This is my video. So let me know in the comments below if you hate them as much as I do.
I do hate them as much as you do.
And then you notice deception if they're hunting for something, because the deception has already been played.
Well, how do you know if they're hunting for something?
You have to listen and watch carefully. You watch the person carefully, you listen carefully, you note his pauses, you note what his perspective he's trying to get across, you know when he talks louder. Pay attention to all of that. And he doesn't need to know it.
The demeanor?
Everything, demeanor, and he doesn't need to know it. But then you got a good scoop on this person. Such a good scoop, because he can't hide all of that, because he knows most people don't even see it.
That's good.
Things got a bit more serious, however, when just over a week ago, a video was posted called Suddenly a Widow with 8 Kids. 5 days ago, there was 39 hours. My husband suddenly died, mom of 8 kids. Yesterday, they posted 5 days since my husband suddenly died, mom of 8 kids. And an hour ago was the latest one posted called A Viewer Called the Police About My Videos, mom of 8 kids. So let's get into how her husband allegedly passed away, how she was doing afterwards, and why the police were called. Mom of 8 Kids was turning into quite the family vlogging channel. That is until about 9 days ago when she stated that her husband passed away suddenly in their home. 12 hours later, she was already recording a vlog to post up on the platform, and I think it's worth watching some of it.
This is mom of eight kids. Now I'm a widow with 8 kids. 12 hours ago, my husband suddenly passed in our home, and he was rushed to the hospital, and we have 8 kids together. We were married for 20 years, and he was a lot older than me. He just turned 70 on June 23rd. And so I knew this day would come, but I have been dreading it for 20 years. I have been dreading this day. And so I haven't told the kids yet. Only the older ones know. This is our youngest one right here. Just a minute. Those are the kids. They don't know I'm recording this.
I'm unsure what a normal vlog video would look like for this situation 12 hours after you lost your husband, but what I believe gave everyone red flags with this one is the fact that she stated she still had not yet told her children as they are in the room, moving around, and within earshot.
So, the reason I'm doing this is because I think it'll help me a lot to have an emotional outlet to deal with this, because we don't have any friends and we don't have any family members, because my family members didn't agree when I married the love of my life, my husband. So I stopped talking to all of them, and it's been like 20 years since I talked to anybody. I can't imagine losing my husband, and of course I do have a lot of sympathy for this woman because I do believe that her husband is gone. I just am unsure if he has passed away within the last month, as she states. And in this clip, you hear her talk about how her family did not approve of her husband and she hasn't talked to them in 20 years. That makes me wonder, and everyone else wonder, what exactly was going on in the family, or what are the problems with her husband? I can't help but also wonder if these guys are a part of a religion, a lot like the Duggars or Ruby Frankie, and that's why they've had several kids. Maybe her family did not agree with them joining the cult, you know? I just was left with so many questions after seeing this clip, and I'm sure you are as well. The older ones know. My oldest is 20. He just turned 20 June 15th. And my second youngest, 18, he was there at the hospital with me. And we said our goodbyes. Although I tried to tell myself that he's not really gone. I tried to tell myself he's in a different place. And I get scared. I don't know how to not have him around.
I know. I look like a piece of shit right now for playing this video and for reacting to this woman talking about how she just lost her husband. I promise you I have very good reasons for it, and we're going to get into that. I am also not the only one doing this, so just hold off, okay? I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Queen, oh my god, you've definitely reached a new low here. Go fuck yourself. Just hold that thought and watch the rest of the video, please.
We've been married 20 years, like I said. And I made a list of things to do tomorrow. So
she goes on to list off the domestic duties that she has to do after losing her husband, such as changing their bank account and dealing with their finances and etc. I don't feel like that information is pertinent to this video, so I have edited it out. I am going to be leaving her channel link down below so you can go and watch all of these videos in entirety for yourself.
So I stayed with him. I held his hand for a very long time. I don't know how long. Until the coroner came. He is going to the next city. They sent him to the next city. And they're going to be doing an autopsy on him. And
this seems to be the second red flag when I look into why people are questioning this family, and it is that she brings up that her husband did not want to have an autopsy done on him. So listen to this.
my husband, he actually had a wish not to. He wanted to be buried intact. In fact, he didn't want to be buried at all. He wanted a mausoleum, but we can't get a mausoleum, and he doesn't want to be buried, and he wanted to have his whole body intact, so he didn't want to be embalmed. But they're going to do an autopsy on him tomorrow, and I'll get a call about that from the coroner.
Now, here in Ontario, the decision to perform an autopsy is made by the coroner, and he consults with the forensic pathologist. The coroner will assess any concerns expressed by the family, but they will proceed with ordering an autopsy if they believe it is needed to inform the death investigation. A great example of this is when somebody dies inside their home and they are not 100% sure what the cause of death was, which is the situation here. So in this situation, an autopsy gets done, and she states, "My husband never wanted to be embalmed," suggesting that she wishes that she could stop the autopsy, and some people found that to be a red flag.
When he hears from the doctor doing the autopsy, I didn't have it when I was at the hospital, but now that I'm at home, I have this terrible emotional pain in my chest. It's not a physical pain, it's emotional.
Marsha?
And I still have the task up ahead. I'm not sure how to tell them. The kids. So, thank you for watching.
Don't worry, that's not the end of her video. Some people were very concerned with the fact that she had not yet told her kids, and she seemed to be too distressed to tell her children that their father had passed away.
They didn't find any abuse or anything like that, and it was just a stupid reason that anyone can call, and they found nothing, of course, because we were a good family. So this time, if they come and they show up at my door, this time I'm not going to let them in. Before we used to think you had to, but I'm not going to let them in, and I'll have to get a lawyer this time because we've gone through enough and we don't need this. We're a good family. There's no abuse.
In Ontario, where I also lived by the way, it is actually protocol for child services, family and protective services to be contacted when there is a death in the family. It is not for them to come and get the other parent in trouble or anything. It is literally for them to show up, make sure that the family has proper resources, and that they can all properly grieve the loss of a family member together. It became very suspect when she says that she won't be letting them into her home. That of course led people to wonder if that's because of the state of the home. As I mentioned before, the home is extremely messy. So of course this was more red flags for people.
And hopefully I can then just get on with the arrangements for my husband and they'll leave us alone.
She goes on to thank everyone for their kind comments and anyone for their support, and then it just ends with this black screen, and the viewer is left to wonder, oh my god, what is going to happen to this mom of 8 kids who just became a widow and whose kids don't yet know they've lost their father. And this is how Mom of 8 Kids told the world that she had just become a widow and that Eugene, her husband of 20 years, had passed away.
It's been 39 hours since my husband suddenly passed away. 5 days since my husband passed away. I kind of have the shakes a little here. It's 4 a.m. in the morning and the police came to my door. I have 8 kids. My 2 eldest is 20 and 16, and we suddenly lost our dad. It's 3:25 in the morning. I got up at 2 a.m. and it's been 3 days since my last video. Somebody that watched my video called them, and the police went and they looked at my videos on YouTube and they came to check on me. Yeah, now I did make a video already explaining what happened. You can go back and watch that video. Thank you for clicking on this video because I think that doing this will help me. It's an emotional outlet. So YouTube has become my emotional outlet and what I'm going through, which is the hardest thing I have ever had to go through in my life. But he prepared us. He was always looking after us. And my husband, who was 70, he passed away suddenly, and there's no will, and I don't have any family members to go to. Like I said in one of my previous videos, there isn't anybody. I don't have any friends, I don't have any family members or his family members to go to. It's just us. I was so relieved when they told me that I didn't have anything to worry about, that I wasn't in trouble, because that was what I first thought when they came. Is I thought, oh no, the results came back and there's something not right. The results from the autopsy, that is, and I was afraid that they were here because I was in trouble.
After the initial video that Mom of 8 Kids posted, called "My Husband Just Died" with a crying face in the thumbnail, Mom of 8 Kids went on to post a few more videos. One of them entitled 39 Hours My Husband Suddenly Died, Mom of 8 Kids, and the other one entitled 5 Days Since My Husband Suddenly Died, Mom of 8 Kids. And as people watched these videos, they began to come up with even more questions as to what was really going on here. You see, it comes out in these videos that the mom left the husband dead on the floor in the kitchen for quite a while before calling in the paramedics. It also comes out that she might have lost her husband in July of this year, not within the last week. An amazing creator by the name of Ammy Robinson did the initial video, which sort of catapulted this whole thing, so that mom of 8 kids was being called out for lying about her husband's death. Here are some amazing points that Ammy makes.
And it's extremely clear to see that she is lying about the timeline. I'm not saying she's lying about her husband's death. I would not want to say that. That is not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that she's lying about the timeline in order to get more sympathy, in order to get more money. However, if you're going to come online and say that your husband has literally died a few days ago, when in fact that is not the case, and then asking people to donate money, saying that you are a sudden widow, when in actuality the date on your phone says July 22. She didn't blur it all the way. I've managed to catch that, and other people caught that as well. July 22. If you're gonna do that and ask people for money, this is not good. You need to be honest, people. And he apparently had vomit coming out of his mouth, and she had actually waited a little while to then call the ambulance because she is used to him doing this, and she wanted to see if he was just sleeping.
The call from the coroner said he had a large pneumonia on the right side of his lung, which is probably because he was lying on the floor for a very long time. As I said in the last video, I couldn't wake him up. He was knocked out. He had taken his heavy pain relief pills.
I was reading a comment which basically said that the coroner told you he had pneumonia in one lung. That's called aspiration pneumonia because he vomited and it went back down his airway into the lung. You said in your prior video that when you'd first found him passed out on the kitchen floor, he had vomit coming out of his mouth, and you did nothing but instead left him there for several hours, claiming you thought he'd wake up later, but of course he didn't. Which then went into a whole tailspin of this lady spending a long portion of her first and even second video, which is thumbnailed jail ? Of her actually getting quite worried that she was going to be done for manslaughter or negligence. Can't say it.
But that means that it's not likely that I would be charged.
Spoke to a family lawyer, and she told me that they're coming in the house no matter what. Now, the reason why I didn't want them to come in the house initially was because it was really messy and really dirty. So we've been frantically cleaning up the house because we want them to come in and see everything's okay, because I prioritize my children's care over housework. So yes, the house is dirty, the house is messy, but that's because I prioritize brushing their teeth. I prioritize, my children over doing housework.
And a lot of people were kind of going like, well, if you're this worried, then like, what are you so worried about, kind of thing. First and foremost, I do want to say, like, you can clearly see that she is struggling. You can clearly see that this is a lot. However, this is not in real time. This has already happened. Her husband did not die a few days ago. Her husband died before July 22.
So as you heard, there was a lot of question as to why she left him for so long before calling authorities. There was some questions as to why she lied about the date of his death and made it seem as if it had just happened, if it did in fact happen in July. There were some questions about her not telling the children right away, and if that was neglect. And the people in her comment sections were questioning her as well. This happened months ago. Date of phone in last video says 22nd July and was admitted in comments, but still no mention of this in this video. I'm sorry for your loss, but please address why you're posting as if this is a current situation instead of something that happened back in July. Please let us know how you're doing now in October 2023. She is lying and scamming her viewers about the date of his death. Cause she is scamming and using his death for money. I just wonder why she is scared of if his death was natural or from a fall. Her stating that makes me wonder if she is a suspect. The comments go on to state that they don't understand why she lied about the date and why she was so worried about being in trouble with the police or with the Child Protective Services. A lot of people felt like these videos after her initial video announcing that he had passed on made her seem as if she was a suspect of his death and really had something to hide other than the date that he had passed away.
I'm glad that it's out in the open now. The police know. They've seen my videos and they said I'm not in trouble. That is such a relief. And I told them that it was nice of them to come and check on me, and they were understanding, and I appreciate that. To be honest, I think the kids are taking it better than I am myself, and that was a great relief too, because my most important concern was how my children would take it, how they would they be okay, and they seem to be doing all right. I seem to be taking it the worst. Everyone else seems to be managing better, so that's a big relief.
The good news is, by the time that Mom of 8 Kids released her latest video entitled "A Viewer Called the Police About My Videos, Mom of 8 Kids," in which she speaks about how 2 police officers came to do a check-in with her, she had at least told her children that their father had passed away. Being in Canada, Ontario, Canada, myself, I decided to try to find an obituary or some proof of this death. I'm here in Canada, so I thought that when I looked up this family I would be able to find them quite easily, especially in Canadian news. However, I was unable to. But I did find some other interesting things. For example, back in March of 2022, a Utah mom who wrote a children's book about grief after her husband died ended up getting charged with murdering him. It says here, deputies found Eric Richens on the floor at the foot of the bed. The document said life-saving measures were attempted, but he was declared dead. At the time of his death, the only people in the home were the couple and their 3 young sons. She's been charged with the murder. That led me to this interesting article called "Husband Dies Suddenly, Leaving Wife with 8 Kids." She remembers him acting strangely in bed. Talks about how a man named James Green and his wife Chloe had 8 children together. They began young when they were in love at a very young age. And then suddenly one day James woke up around 4:30 a.m., was acting strangely. He sat upright in bed, went into a fit, and stopped breathing. She performed CPR on her husband right there in bed before the paramedics arrived. James was only 31 years old, but he did pass away. And this poor woman, Chloe, has been left as a single mother of 8 children. She has been well known on social media, and following James' death, her community raised over $10,000 to help her build an outdoor garden in which her children could play. Articles about her go on to talk about how she's an amazing single mother of her 8 children. Of course, there was a money incentive, possibly if you were somebody like Mom of 8 Kids looking at this story, thinking how you could get famous on the internet. I'm not saying exactly that that's what she was doing, but there has been some speculation that she lied about the date of her husband's death in order to grift. But when she showed her phone, it did say Saturday, July 22nd. And that means it did happen this year, because in July of 2023, the 22nd was on a Saturday. So I do believe that she lost her husband in July of this year. There's still some other things, though, that made a lot of people question her even after this video. And again, our girl Amy let out a video called "Mom of 8 Kids Comes Clean About Husband's Death." Here are some clips from that video.
You know, it obviously a horrific situation, and she was extremely distressed. She sounded like she was way over her head and she needed help, you know, hence the reason why she's probably come to YouTube. After some other little bits that I've noticed in the comment section, she now has actually admitted to it not being in present time. She has admitted to her husband actually passing in July. So my last video was correct. You know, a lot of people's judgments and concerns was the fact that she wasn't being truthful about the timeline of events. Worth saying that it was slightly odd how she was putting a lot of emphasis on the fact that she was very worried because she thought she was in trouble from like the autopsy results.
So relieved when they told me that I didn't have anything to worry about, that I wasn't in trouble, because that was what I first thought when they came. Is I thought, oh no, the results came back and there's something not right. The results from the autopsy, that is, and I was afraid that they were here because I was in trouble.
Now, I don't know how fast autopsy results get back to you. Husband passed away in July. She's already admitted to it. I'll read it out in a minute, but up here. And she's worried, you know, when the police came that she was in trouble. They were coming to tell her off, which is a kind of a reoccurring theme.
But it's I didn't know a lot of good people in my life. That's one of the reasons why I chose to stay at home with my children and raise them as a stay-at-home mom. My husband, the same thing, he hadn't known many good people in his life.
So this, I believe, was a pinned comment, and then she kept on unpinning it. She kept on pinning it and then unpinning it, and I didn't realise. I thought she was just deleting it, but then she was actually just unpinning it because then it would randomly get pinned again. It was a whole thing. But she said, please note, I opened a Patreon account yesterday, 1 week after posting my first grieving video. I'm not frauding anyone or deleting comments. I did mention that my husband's disability will be running out, and that is October 31st of this month. He died in July of this year. These videos were recorded as they were happening. I'm trying my best to stay consistent with the timeline. I appreciate you for listening and watching. Thank you so much. I wish you the best. Taking it back, like, I'm happy that she has addressed this, and to some people it might just be like, why, I don't really care. But do you know what? I'm not talking to the people who like don't care whether or not she's in the right timeline. I'm talking to the people who do care that she's not in the right timeline. So I'm just going to speak from the heart. I think that it's good that she is addressing this now, but what I will say is that why don't you just say that at the very beginning? Like, if this wasn't like just happening in real time, why didn't you say something? Because whether you want to believe it or not, whether you want to believe it or not, there is a big difference between how audiences will react to if you said my husband died 12 hours ago versus my husband died 3 months ago. There is a very big difference in how audiences will react, how much they will donate, how much time, how much resources you're able to be given. And to some people might be like, well, why does it matter? But I'm telling you, there is an extremely huge difference in how people are willing to give and act based on 3 months versus 12 hours. There just is. It's like human nature. If something's happening immediately, you want to be able to help and fix and send out resources. Like, I've read these comments. This is people trying to act in the moment. So if it isn't actually in the moment, it will then leave those people kind of going like, well, I was getting myself worried for no reason. Because some people are like huge empaths. Some people really will go above and beyond to help people they don't even know. You can clearly see that this is real time, rather than like if you compare it to the previous videos that we've just seen. The thing is that what people are then also struggling with as well is that, you know, she'll be replying back to people's comments as if it literally is within that time period. So then you'll then have people saying, you've got to tell the children, and she'll then say, yes, I'm just trying to work up the courage, or yes, I'm doing that. And it's like, which just makes it really confusing if she's actually talking about it from today's perspective or them, because she's almost trying to convince herself that this has just happened when it hasn't. And I think, like, and I'll say it again, I'm sorry if this comes across as being rude, but I do consider her a vulnerable adult. I consider her someone who, well, obviously you're going to be vulnerable if you've literally just like lost your husband, but I feel like the kind of the way in which they would kind of live their lives very, very, very closed off. You know, I don't think she trusts a lot of people, and this happening to her is probably going to be like quite a sudden shock on YouTube. However, she has ultimately done it to herself in the sense that she has lied about the dates, and she has made people kind of side-eye her whole story. There are people who are side-eye everything. I don't side-eye everything, but I am just confused. Like, I am just confused in what timeline, like what has happened, what do you need money for? I don't know.
So Mom of 8 Kids is still kind of being weird in the comments section and alluding that this has happened just now, within the last week, when really she has come out and admitted now that the death of her husband was in July, which again, I'm very sorry to hear about. I can't imagine losing my husband, and my heart really does go out to she and all 8 of her children in this time. I just don't think that she handled this situation the best. And it's never good to manipulate your audience for a monetary gain or even for emotional support, because it does harm your audience. They do care about you and what you go through. So I think it's good to be mindful of that, especially when you're sharing traumatic events. The good news is that Mom of 8 Kids is not going to have to continue to suffer or be that worried about losing all of her benefits and being in financial distress. The good news for Mom of 8 Kids is that if her husband was on disability or CPP, the government would have helped pay for the funeral costs, so that wouldn't have been a problem. There are also other benefits here that she can receive. Let's take a look at some. If you go to the Ontario.ca website, you can learn about how someone's assets and liabilities are handled after they die, including what happens if a person dies with or without a will. I know she stated that her husband did not have a will, and luckily that does not matter because there is still a way to distribute the estate without a will. And here is where you can also come to apply for Canada Pension Plan death benefits. The Canada Pension Plan over on Canada.ca has a survivor's pension. So as long as you are legally married to a deceased CPP contributor or you're the common law partner of one, then you can get this. It says here too that you may also qualify for other CPP benefits. In addition to the CPP survivor's pension, you may be eligible to receive death benefit and benefit for children under 25, which she has 8 children under the age of 25, so this might be good for her to look into. Another good idea for Mom of 8 Kids would be to check out 211ontario.ca. There's a service called Widowed Friends, and it provides opportunities to reconnect socially with fellow widows and widowers following a spousal loss, both virtually and in person. It's kind of like having a support group. It also fosters community partnerships, and they have a website and everything. There is a membership fee of $120 per year allegedly, but you could probably work that out with them. It would just be something good to check out. Also, if she went to 211ontario.ca, I'm sure she could also find other benefits that she can use. So there is help that you can get here in Canada, and specifically in the province of Ontario, if you lose a spouse, especially if you are the mother of children. My best advice that I could give Mom of 8 Kids is to check out all of the resources on canada.gc.ca as well as ontario.ca, and I'll leave the links down below. Also, she should maybe come out and just do a video apologizing and explaining that this has just been very traumatic for her. She was only able to return to the internet recently and decided to post up these videos that she did record at the time that she was losing her husband, and she didn't really think anything of it, and she apologizes if any of it was misleading. I'm sure if she just came out here and explained that, everyone would be more than willing to forgive her. I would like to think that she isn't being malicious here and trying to do that on purpose, like manipulate everyone on purpose to grift. left. But who knows? I guess we'll have to see how this plays out in future and what her next move is, and I'll be sure to update all of you. Please make sure that you guys do all of them YouTube things. Thanks so much for watching, and I think to end this, we're just gonna take a moment to remember Dad of 8 kids, because in making this video, I watched some of the vlogs, and I have to say, I teared up a couple times. I kind of like the quirky dude, alright? So rest in peace to him. Again, my heart goes out to Mom of 8 kids and her family, and I do wish them all the best in future going forward. I hope that this could be something she can apologize for, and then we can all move on from. Take care, guys. Talk soon. Rest in peace, Dad of 8 kids.